welcome to our morning edition of Arirang News. We begin with these stories making the headlines at this hour. A special prosecutor team in South Korea is set to announce the results of its 6-month investigation into former President Yoon Suk Yeol, who was indicted on insurrection charges after he declared martial law on December 3rd last year. Coupang founder Kim Bum-seok has notified lawmakers that he will not attend a National Assembly hearing this week over the company's massive data breach. This is now drawing strong criticism from Korean lawmakers who claim the company is attempting to evade responsibility. At least 16 people have been killed following a shooting on Australia's Bondi Beach, which police say targeted the Jewish community. Meanwhile, a separate shooting also took place at Brown University in the United States, with the authorities saying a person of interest has been detained. We begin this morning with latest on the investigations into former South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol. A special prosecutor will soon announce the results of its 6th-month investigation into the former president who declared martial law on December 3rd last year. Launched on June 18th, Special Prosecutor Cho Eun-seok indicted Yoon and 23 others for their alleged roles in the incident on insurrection charges, with additional allegations of acts harming the national and military interests, including provoking North Korea through drone operations. Special investigators pushed back the timeline of Yoon's martial law planning to November 2022, after uncovering evidence that he had mentioned using emergency decrees. Meanwhile, South Korean lawmakers are criticizing Coupang founder Kim Bum-seok for planning not to attend a parliamentary hearing this week over the company's massive data breach. The lawmakers say the company is trying to avoid responsibility. According to members of the National Assembly Science, ICT, Broadcasting and Communications Committee on Sunday, Kim submitted a statement explaining his absence from the hearing scheduled for Wednesday. The founder said he would not attend the hearing due to official business commitments. Former CEOs of Coupang's Korean unit, Park Tae-jun and Kang Han-seung, also notified lawmakers that they will not appear. Late last month, Coupang revealed that the personal data of over 33 million customers have been compromised, including names, phone numbers, email addresses, and delivery information. A mass shooting in Australia targeting the Jewish community killed at least 16 people, including a 10-year-old child on the first day of the Jewish holiday, Hanukkah. Our Park Jun-an has the latest.
Multiple shots were fired at Australia's Bondi Beach on Sunday, where hundreds of people from the Jewish community were gathered for the start of the 8-day Hanukkah festival. The authorities said the shooting claimed at least 16 people's lives and injured more than 40 others. The victims' ages ranged from 10 to 87 years old. Police identified the shooters as a father and son, with the father having 6 firearms licensed to him. The 50-year-old father was shot dead by police at the scene, while his 24-year-old son was quickly wounded and is now hospitalized. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese labeled the attack as an apparent act of anti-Semitism and terrorism.
Today, all Australians wrap our arms around them and say, we stand with you. We will do whatever is necessary to stamp out anti-Semitism. It is a scourge and we will eradicate it together.
Global leaders from the U.S., UK, France, and many other countries raised concerns and condemned the horrible incident. Shocked by the tragic attack at Bondi Beach, European Union Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said, quote, "I send my heartfelt condolences to the families and loved ones of the victims. Europe stands with Australia and Jewish communities everywhere. We are united against violence, anti-Semitism, and hatred." The tragedy marked Australia's worst shooting in 29 years, in a country well known for imposing strict gun laws. Following the attack, major cities around the world, including New York, Berlin, and London, stepped up security around Hanukkah events. Park Jun-an, Arirang News.
Over in the United States, at least 2 people are dead and 9 others wounded in a shooting at Brown University on Saturday. A person of interest has been detained. Our Lee Seung-jae reports.
A person of interest has been detained after 2 people were killed and 9 others wounded in a shooting at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. Authorities say the shooting occurred around 4 p.m. on Saturday outside the Baruch and Holly building, which houses the university's School of Engineering and Physics. Final exams were underway inside the building at the time of the attack. Police said the suspect fled the scene on foot, but have not yet determined how they entered the facility. At a press conference on Sunday morning, Providence Mayor Brett Smiley confirmed that the police had detained a person of interest. Authorities say the suspect has been identified as 24-year-old Benjamin Erickson of Wisconsin. The city's fire department chief Derek Silva said both victims died at the scene. 8 of the wounded were taken to Rhode Island Hospital for treatment. Police said parts of the campus remain closed as active crime scenes, but the shelter-in-place advisory for the entire campus was lifted early on Sunday. U.S. President Donald Trump issued condolences on Sunday over the Brown University shooting, as well as over the deadly attack at Sydney's Bondi Beach, described by authorities as targeted anti-Semitic assault and an attack in Syria that resulted in the deaths of 3 Americans.
And before we begin, however, I want to just pay my respects to the people. Unfortunately, 2 are no longer with us. Brown University, 9 injured, and 2 are looking down on us right now from heaven. And likewise in Australia, as you know, that was a terrible attack, 11 dead.
On Sunday, Brown University students gathered to mourn and reflect on the deadly shooting.
Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely this is a huge wake-up call for everybody that, has been affected and just everybody in the country in general. I think gun violence is a huge issue, and this is, truly so tragic that we're seeing these events happen over and over again.
The investigation into the Brown University shooting is ongoing, and the school's officials are urging its students and faculty to remain vigilant. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
A recent report shows more of the younger generation are unemployed in South Korea, with the employment rate for people in their 30s at a record low. For more on the country's labor market, we're joined today by Professor Shin Myung-kyu, an associate professor of economics at Yonsei University. Professor Shim, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So a report released recently suggests that while the number of employed young people has fallen, employment among older workers has actually risen. What's your assessment of the current state of South Korea's job market?
Yes, as you just pointed out, this is a phenomenon that is really important aspect of the Korea's labor market. Let me first point out that this does not seem to be a transitory problem if you look at the trend of the unemployment rate per se. The unemployment rate of workers whose ages are between 20 and 29 has been higher than 5% this year, while that of older workers whose age is between 50 and 59 has been below 2%. Given that the average unemployment rate has been stable at lower than 3%, while that of youth unemployment rate has been stable at around 6% for the last few years, this clearly shows that the labor market has become more systematically favorable for old workers than young workers. This, to me, this phenomenon does not seem to improve in a very near future because new technologies, including AI, is believed to substitute young workers more than old workers.
I see, and there's a growing debate over whether the country should raise the retirement age from 60 to 65. Some say it's needed given the aging population, while others warn that it could take away more jobs from the younger generations. Where do you stand on this issue?
While it is evident from the previous analysis in labor economics that raising the retirement age would harm young workers by cutting their jobs, But I cannot be against the policy to raise the retirement age for several reasons. First, poverty rate of old workers is really high in Korea, and supporting for them is now really necessary. According to the OECD, the ratio was about 40% in 2023, which marked the highest level among the OECD countries, and enabling them to work more might reduce such a problem. Second, a problem that the national pension system would exist might be somewhat relieved. Once the retirement age is raised, it will be easier for the government to raise the minimum age when the retirees can receive the retirement benefit, which would be helpful to sustain the current pension system.
See, and another major issue in the job market is working 4.5 days a week. Would this hurt productivity, or could it actually improve the quality of life for workers and sort of help them spend more time with their families?
In the sense that working hours is still very high in Korea compared to the other countries, the policy to expedite working 4.5 days seems to make sense. Compared to the OECD average, Korean workers still work more than 150 hours per year. And with the development of the new technologies like the AI, which seems to make workers to be more productive than before, working less seems to make sense. But I think the government also needs to be careful in conducting such a policy because it can polarize the labor market further between workers employed in large and in small to medium-sized firms. Compared to the large firms, small firms have long-standing issues that they cannot fill the vacancies due to the dual labor market structure between large and small firms. And the new policy should put additional pressures on small firms compared to the large firms because it might increase the production cost, which should make small firms even less attractive to the workers. So the government needs to impose more policies to ensure that such firms are not harmed by the policy.
Right, and there are also concerns over artificial intelligence replacing humans at work. What do you think should be done to prepare for the impact of AI and perhaps other emerging technologies on the job market?
Yes, recently I had an opportunity to meet some CEOs, and they raised the issue that they do not have any incentives to hire young workers. Simple tasks like searching for information, summarizing facts, and preparing, say, presentation slides that were used to undertaken by young workers are now easily replaced by AI technology. And also, if I meet researchers, they also say that the need for research assistants becomes lower as a task that are usually done by their young research assistants are easily done by AIs in a more efficient ways. So it seems to be more and more important to make the young workers to prepare to find and learn how to do complex tasks that are complement to new technologies so that they are not easily replaced by the new technologies. In this sense, the government might help the workers to receive necessary education to enable them to do more tasks that are not easily overtaken by the AI technology.
I see, definitely. All right, Professor Shim, thank you so much for your insight this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Seoul is currently planning to transform the iconic Namsan mountain into a global attraction for visitors from around the world. The plans include building a 5-minute aerial gondola ride to the summit and an observatory tower to address issues with the existing cable cars and improve convenience for tourists. Our Cha Eun-kyung has more.
The globally popular animated movie K-pop Demon Hunters features Namsan Mountain, a famous landmark in Seoul. Riding the wave of the movie's craze, people from around the world have been visiting the site, but its limited accessibility and long waits for the cable car have been the cause of frequent complaints. This is because a single company has held the exclusive rights to operate just 2 48-passenger cable cars. This has become such a serious issue that even the government has stepped in to criticize it.
Despite the surge in tourists driven by the popularity of the movie, complaints about the quality of the Namsan cable car service continue. The root of the problem lies in a preferential business license granted in 1961 that has remained in place for more than 60 years.
To solve the problem, the Seoul metropolitan government is moving forward with a new gondola system, using 25 10-passenger cabins capable of transporting more than 2,000 people per hour. With this system, wheelchair users and parents with strollers will be able to travel from Myeongdong Station to the top of Namsan Mountain in just 5 minutes. The city aims to complete the project by 2027, but the outcome of a first court ruling on December 19th, which was filed by the company holding the monopoly, remains a key issue.
If we win, construction starts right away, and even if we lose, a decree revision will still allow the gondola project, so I urge the government to proceed with the revision.
Along with this, a 360-degree observatory will be built at the summit of Namsan Mountain, allowing visitors to look out over the city in every direction. The city plans to revitalize Namsan Mountain into a world-class landmark that goes beyond just representing Seoul. Cha Yoon-kyung, Arirang News.
A rare collection of ancient Buddhist relics, some unseen for over 1,000 years, are on display at a new exhibition in the city of Chuncheon. It reveals the serene beauty and spiritual depth of Korea's Buddhist heritage and documents the Buddha's process of attaining enlightenment. Our Yoon has the details.
The journey of Buddha's enlightenment. A gentle resonance of a temple gong signals the beginning. There are 2 ritual water bottles from the unified Silla period which were excavated in Samcheok. They symbolize the washing away of suffering with pure water. As visitors walk along appreciating Buddhist ritual objects that purify the spirit, they are greeted by a Buddha who has attained enlightenment. This gilt bronze Buddha statue lay underground for over 1,000 years before being unearthed, and now sits to meet the world. In front of the halo that represents sacred light, the Buddha's serene smile draws attention. It is a 9th century Buddha statue that was excavated in 2015 at the site of the Sunrimwon Temple in Yangyang, and it took 5 full years just to restore it. A video showing the fully restored form of the statue has been recreated using AI technology and is also being screened in the exhibition hall. And this gilt bronze seated Buddha statue, excavated from Mount Coupang in 1930, displays a compassionate and mystical presence amid its splendor.
Bodhisattvas are guides for followers so that they don't give up and continue on their path. To feel the mystical power of such bodhisattvas, their magnificent appearance is essential, and this statue reflects that very well.
Symbolizing the final part of the enlightenment journey is a seated statue with Buddha's chest open and legs firmly crossed as it radiates unbroken tranquility. The hand gesture with the thumb and index finger touching represents the moment just before entering deep meditation, when the wisdom to see through all things is about to arise. It symbolizes the very fruition of enlightenment.
We hope that as you look at these works, you take time to reflect on the suffering you're facing in life and what must be realized. Ultimately, we hope you experience peace of mind and emotional stability.
This special exhibition of Buddhist art that will take you on a journey to finding enlightenment opened at the Chuncheon National Museum on November 25th and will remain open until the end of 2028. Yoon, Arirang News.
Good morning, I'm Choo Ji-hyun, and this is The World Now. In Berlin, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenskyy has signaled a major diplomatic shift as Ukraine and the United States held talks aimed at ending the war with Russia. Zelenskyy said Ukraine is ready to drop its bid to join NATO in exchange for Western security guarantees on Sunday, but rejected U.S. proposals to give up Ukrainian territory. Zelenskyy met with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Presidential Advisor Jared Kushner, alongside German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. The Ukrainian leader said any security guarantees must be legally binding and approved by the U.S. Congress, calling the NATO concession a compromise to prevent further Russian aggression. Russia has demanded that Ukraine abandons its NATO ambitions as part of any peace deal. In the United States, one of the top contenders for the Federal Reserve chair, Kevin Hassett, has pushed back against concerns over political pressure on the Fed. Hassett said on Sunday that if he becomes chair, President Donald Trump would carry, quote, no weight in the Fed's interest rate decisions. Hassett added the Federal Open Market Committee sets rate by vote, not the president, stressing that the Fed operates independently. Trump has said his pick to replace Fed Chair Jerome Powell, whose term ends in May, is down to the two Kevins, Kevin Hassett and former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh. In India, a tour appearance in Kolkata by football star Lionel Messi ended in crowd chaos. Fans at Salt Lake Stadium on Saturday ripped up seats, threw objects, and entered the field after Messi stayed for about 20 minutes at the ticketed event, far shorter than what many fans had expected. Videos showed supporters climbing fences and hurling debris as security struggled to regain control. Police later detained the event's chief organizer, and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee apologized to Messi and ordered an investigation into crowd management. Officials pledged refunds for ticket holders. Jobs website Glassdoor has named the term fatigue as its word of the year for 2025. It cited widespread exhaustion across the workforce. The platform recorded a 41% surge in mentions as workers flagged politics, economic uncertainty, stagflation, and AI disruption as major stress drivers.
As a blast of cold air moved in from the northwest, most regions saw morning temperatures below freezing. But the chill will not last all day. Temperatures will rebound this afternoon to above the seasonal average, and morning lows will return to above freezing by Tuesday. But please watch out for icy patches on roads and sidewalks. And this afternoon, Seoul gets up to 6 degrees Celsius. Daegu, Gyeongju both make it to 9 degrees, and more clouds will be rolling in this afternoon, and air quality will be decent nationwide. Now, this week looks milder than usual with no severe cold expected, and this is actually causing headaches to winter-related events held across the country as we're having a warmer winter than expected so far. But take care and stay safe out on the roads.
That's all we have for this morning. Arirang News will be back at noon Korea time. Thanks for watching.